everyone, it's Lauchlan again, and welcome back to another City of Joondalup Arts and Isolation project, Dance Edition. This video is all about turning and how dancers can do so many turns and make it look so easy. Before you think, I can't do this, I'm going to skip it. Stop! Turning, it's easy. Anyone can learn to turn. All you need to do is learn a few simple tips and tricks. The one thing you need to know above all else is that turning, it's science. It's science! But a lot of people think, why is it science? Simple. We're using a term called centrifugal force. Think of turning like a toy spinning top that you might have had when you were younger. Like this. Now there's some things that we notice that helps this top spin. As it's spinning on its axis, gravity is sending it down. However, usually made out of plastic, it's forcing itself back up. So there's this idea that force is going against itself. That helps with turning. Also, you notice that as something turns, it is compact and strong, meaning that it is working inwards of itself. Because normally when something turns, if you've ever been on a spinning chair, as you spin, you want to spread out. But to control that, you have to come in and remain compact. And furthermore, to remain compact and to be thinking up, the catalyst for your movement or the way that you start your turn is just as controlled as the way you maintain your turn. I'm going to explain those three different concepts in this video today. I want you to make sure that you've warmed up using your cardio, your stretch and your conditioning, and then come and join with the rest of the video.
Okay, so when it comes to turning, the first thing that we need to talk about is something called spotting. Spotting is when you keep your eyesight focused on one particular point in the room as you're turning your body, and then you snap your head back to find that same point. This helps you remain balanced, and it also helps you not get dizzy when you're turning. One skill that you can do and you can practice is to just walk on the spot as you practice your spotting. You can see that I'm just shuffling my feet, and you can try at different speeds to test that spotting theory. Okay, so now the fun part, we're going to break down all the different things you need to think about as you do a turn. So the first exercise is working on our general rises. So you've got to have strength in your ankles and your feet to be able to hold your entire body weight on one foot as you do a turn. So what you can do is you can practice doing some rises on your toes. As I'm doing it, I'm not putting all my weight into my hands. I'm trying to just help myself balance. And you see I'm going up and holding and then coming back down. Now I would recommend doing this for at least sets of 10, taking a little break and then going back again. Now as you're doing it, you want to think about what your core is doing. As you're rising up and coming back down, you're not always going to have something to help you go up and down. So after you've done a couple of rises or a couple of sets of rises, try to take your hands out and test your balance. You can see I'm testing my balance by lifting my arms up and down. Something that's really important as you're working on this exercise is to find your stability in a parallel position. That means that your feet are like they're on two train tracks and they're hip width apart. Now as I'm going up and down, you can see I'm playing with what I'm doing with my arms as I work on my balance. I've got my arms to the side, I'm trying them above my head, I'm making sure to keep them in my peripheral vision. Now my peripheral vision, it means that I can see it just from the side of my eyes. Something that a lot of people don't really think about when they're turning is what their back does. So an exercise to test that balance is what I call pushing yourself out the pool. You can see my back muscles are engaged, and that's going to help me keep my stability when I turn. Now, once you've warmed up those ankles a little bit more, you can try doing some raises on one foot and the other, remembering not to use all your weight forward on those hands. Another exercise is to go from 2 feet, swap to 1 and come back down, or just staying up and testing where that center of your balance is. Now there are different ways that we turn or different directions. There's backwards and forwards. Now, ballet terminology we would use is this is an en dehors, meaning backwards, and then en dedans, which means to come forward. Before we get into our actual turning, you want to make sure that you have an awareness of what your body does as you open up to do a turn, alternatively what your body does as you come forward to do a turn. Where's your momentum? So what I like to do is just use my arms and my legs and not really worry about landing properly. Now don't you forget about all the things we did when we were holding the chair. You don't want to stick that booty out and let your abs go. No, no, no. You want to make sure that you engage everything and keep that strength. Remember, gravity is pushing you down, so you want to send the energy back up. So we are thinking about the ankles, the backs of the knees, the hips, and also what our back is doing. Now, one thing that a lot of people think they need to do is send all their energy when they go into a turn, rushing the energy from behind like a runner going forward. That's actually the opposite of what you should think about doing. Keep the weight as much as you can over the front leg, and all you have to worry about is rising up, and this actually helps with your turn. If you try and send the energy from the back to the front, then you're actually sending too much of that force forward where you should be sending it upwards, which is actually not helpful. Now, an exercise that I like to do to really check how everything's in alignment is just a very simple preparation for turn. So you see that I'm touching to the side, I'm putting my foot behind me, keeping my weight forward, and then bringing the other foot to a raised position. So we're going to slow that down, and I'm going to talk about the mechanics as we do this together. So we're going out to the side in a parallel position. This foot that went to the side then reaches behind the body. As it reaches behind the body, you're sending the same arm as the leg that went behind you in front. The arm that remains out to the side is still in that peripheral, so you can see it from the side. And then you're sending your weight up and not forward. Remember, a turn is only a rise which changes direction. So do yourself a favor and make sure that you keep that weight nice and central and then back to a parallel position. You can do this a couple of times on the right and on the left. I've slowed it right down so you can see how much detail goes into it. And remember, this much detail is really just to make sure that it becomes like second nature when we go to do our turns. Sending that weight up and also bringing the arms, the shoulders, and the pelvis into a nice strong striving upwards position. I'm showing you from the back here as well. You can see that my arms, my weight, my hips, everything is in a clean line movement. Now the best thing about doing this exercise slowly is also a really helpful way to just sort of engage those muscles and teach them when to engage when we start to move faster. And from the side there you can see my weight staying forward over that leg which is going to do the rising up. And I'm showing you just from the other side here. I've done a quick reverse on the camera just so you can practice. Now remember, there is no such thing as doing something too many times to be able to get that skill up to date. Showing from the side here again, my weight is forward, my core is engaged, I'm sending the energy up as gravity is sending me down. You can do this as many times as you like before moving on to the next step. Now the next step that we'll do is the same exercise, except we're going to add a slight rise and then a controlled landing. Remember, as you go up, you're still doing everything that you did from the earlier exercise, which is to keep everything controlled. We send our body out to the side, the same arm as the same leg comes forward, and we rise up, bringing everything into a control position, and remember to control down. One exercise I like to do here is really think about, what's my belly button doing? Is it driving back and down through the back of the leg, or is it going forward, which is the opposite of what I want it to do? Now remember, you can do this as many times as you like, and it's okay if you make mistakes or have little wobbles, because that's what we do when we dance, is we try and then we repeat. So you can see here, I'll point out how I made my mistake. I sent my body weight too far backwards, so when I came forward, I had that little wobble, and then I fell backwards again because I couldn't fix it. So when I did the same side again, keeping that weight forward, and up I go, a much more controlled position. And then keeping that control in mind as I send the energy out to the left side and keeping the weight forward, you can see that I maintain that control again on both sides. Now, the graduation from this is to do a half turn. We're doing all the same things, but all we're doing is we're picking up the body and snapping our head to do a 180-degree turn. I'll show you that on the left. Now, you've seen that I've done a little hop there. A hop is not an ideal thing to do because it's saying to your body that you're okay to fall out of your turns. Now, I did that on that side, but I want to show you that you can't always get it right, and that's why we've got to practice it. And then we evolve from doing our half turns to doing our full turns, making sure that we remember that spotting action that we worked on together at the beginning. And you can try and go for the double, and it's okay if you fall.
Well, thanks so much again for joining in today's video. I hope you've got something interesting or maybe something you've maybe not thought about before when it comes to turning. Now remember, this is only a small piece of the puzzle when it comes to becoming a better dancer. So keep practicing these skills at home. One thing that I can suggest to help you improve even faster by practicing at home is to ask someone in your family or someone in your community who's close by to be able to film you as you work on these skills. The best thing we can do when it comes to working on increasing our technique is to watch back how we're doing. If you're not comfortable sharing that with other people, don't worry. Just set up a recording device that you have access to, record yourself and watch it back. Don't forget to do it from different angles, from the front and from the side, to give yourself the best feedback. Once again, I want to thank you so much for watching today, and I look forward to seeing you all in class soon. And remember, just keep dancing. Wait! Now before you go anywhere, Stephanie, Nicola and myself are taking online submissions for our upcoming masterclass. You might be wondering what a masterclass is. So in our masterclass, we're going to be taking individuals from the community and work with them to develop their skills in the arts, while still remaining in isolation. So if you would like a little bit of extra help from me when it comes to your dancing, or in developing your performance, or working on your personal style, or anything dance related, whether you have never danced before, or you've been dancing your entire life, doesn't matter. We want to help you. I especially want to ask any of our future triple threaders out there, that's a singer, a dancer, and an actor all in one, to let us know how we can help you. Send a submission video of yourself doing a little bit of movement and also asking for a little bit of help for something specific to the Arts in Isolation project. We're really looking forward to getting to work with a couple of people in the coming weeks. Whatever you need, send us a video link and we'll help you out. Remember everyone, just keep dancing!